How are you doing? Hey! Phew. Got my eggs in the incubator in the other room. Have a bunch more eggs coming. Sevastopol geese, Amden geese, Indian runner ducks, hybrid Peking ducks, and yeah, like about 45 eggs. Assume like a 15% or so rate that don't make it, somewhere around 15%. Probably. Pure speculation. Could be higher, could be lower. A lot of people from the UK were sending me information on the great chicken news. I'd like to get that in a second. But all of a sudden, and it's been going on for the past few years, people tell me what's been going on, where they're at. They just can't take it anymore, and they need to move. And this is just one example of plenty. I didn't know it. Henderson, Nevada, which apparently is Las Vegas Valley, I got this email, and I get lots of emails like this, and they're all kind of in the same ilk from different places in the world, including the United States. We're looking at Tennessee or Kentucky. We live in Henderson, Las Vegas Valley, i.e. Henderson, Nevada. The level of service has gotten so low that we only go out when we need to. We haven't gone to a restaurant in well over a year. Hit and run auto accidents are an all-time high. Police don't show up to the calls anymore. We've been surrounded now by high-density developments, apartments and condos, thousands of units within walking distance. Guys with saggy pants, and he basically says they're like zombies running up and down their neighborhood, causing all sorts of chaos. There are 3 local grocery stores in your immediate area. They've all gone, to basically to Hades. They've all, turned into hell, essentially, where you used to shop. Very close to your home. My home is a high school and a college. Students used to use the crosswalk across the street to come and go back and forth to school, wherever they please, the new residents. So basically, I'm going to keep this short, but I moved here 8 years ago. I was surprised how quiet it was, and things have just basically turned to hell. Your neighbors beeped. Now it's 8 to 9 times or 10 times when you go out. Sirens all day and night. People are talking about carjacking. Police refuse to respond. And this is kind of the repeating thread in the countless emails that I get. One of the jobs that me and my wife team up on is a service that caters to the wealthy and the famous, both folks that live here and those that visit. Their spending on our services have gone down 74% and is steadily declining. Some of our neighborhoods, we need to have access to armed security at the gate. One of your best local customers was in the Marine Corps, drove a dump truck and finally retired debt-free. He stopped by the shop for summer custom work. Friends got him his juice. And all his friends are dying because of the stab juice. Anyway, I like to keep that short and sweet. I don't need to read anything other than the highlights of that email. So I get a lot of emails from you folks. Kind of wonder, when and if, it's going to turn into that movie Red Dawn at some point in time. It kind of feels that way, though, doesn't it? I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. There's the old version starring Patrick Swayze, and then there's a new version, which is pretty terrible. Coming out of the UK, and this makes perfect sense because they're trying to destroy the supply chains and any semblance of self-sufficiency. I've heard out of the UK, and I've looked up the fines on this, $5,000 fine or 6 months in prison. And I saw the forms, and now you have to fill out a form. They got a form for 50 chickens or more and a form for 50 chickens or less. Owners that fail to register their birds, they're going to face 5,000 pounds and or 6 months in prison. That starts in September, apparently. Have to be registered for monthly checks. This is an email I got from a nice citizen. I forget the town he lives in. It's in western UK. Monthly checks, make sure they've got their shots, costing £1,500. He says monthly, but I don't think that that's true. Maybe one-time fee. But I mean, if that were monthly, that would be really, really funny. If that's true, can someone confirm that it's £1,500 monthly? I mean, that's just literal insanity. They're going to throw you in jail or fine you £5,000 for having some chickens because you want, like, sustain yourself with some eggs and, you know, chickens. I mean, I would love to see them try to do that here in the United States. I mean, I don't know if people would laugh or they would elevate their middle finger, or they just probably just like laugh and continue on doing what they're like. What are you gonna do? You gonna fine me for having chickens? You know, come on, bring it. Let's see that happen. I've told this to some local friends, and they said this is what happens when you don't have a First or a Second Amendment, and of course they don't have that in the UK. You could think on that all you will. One thing that I keep getting the repeating theme on from a lot of people, and I know why they think this, and tomorrow's the eclipse, by the way, and nothing's going to happen relative to Sun, Moon, Earth alignment. Nothing. However, something could happen relative to the government. But the one thing that I keep hearing from everybody, they don't think that there's going to be a November the 4th event. Europeans apparently have no idea what happens on November the 4th every 4 years, and that's this year. You go look it up, but a lot of people tell me. And, you know, I'm not going to speculate or take a stance on this one way or the other, that there's not going to be a November 4th. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that, but I don't care what side anybody's on, you know. I also, too, don't confuse the government with the MIC and the deep state. There is a shadow government. That's not any form of conspiratorial statement. That's a statement of fact. Everybody that keeps laughing and pointing at and getting angry at elected officials, I use the term elected like that, you know, those are the people, those are just puppets. They're not actually pulling the strings. So it's humorous and it's sad if you do get elected at these extremely unintelligent, useless, inept, bumbling fools, you know, that are the puppets and figureheads, but not running anything. I mean, they are not. I'm surprised anybody does think that, because they are not running the ship. By the way, I don't know if you know this or not, on the bridge, the Francis Scott Key Bridge up in Baltimore, you know, a lot more information is coming out, and it is really, really shocking. It doesn't surprise me a bit, but it's still shocking. Did you know the last 2 minutes, the only important 2 minutes of the information from the black box is missing? That's official. That's not like tinfoil hat lunacy. It's missing. It's not there. The only 2 important minutes is not there. Yeah. I wonder what you think. I didn't know this, by the way. But that particular type of ship actually has a redundancy set for steering and for the power plant. So even if one went out, there's still a redundancy. I did not know that myself. And when they were talking about the power going out, this is something totally separate. And you can see that in the video of the power going out. That had nothing to do with the power to the power plant that drives the steerage and the engine. That's completely set. That's from a person that's been driving those ships for 30 years. I said that. He said, well, you can see the power. One guy said, you can see the power going out on the ship. And he said, no, that's a totally separate system. Yeah, I could, you know, I saw that. Power goes out, it comes back on, it goes out again. I forget how many times. But that's the electrical system that is independent from the controls and the redundancy that drive the ship. So, yeah, but that's missing. And watching the path over and over, People that actually have contacts inside the Pentagon say that it was an attack. I'm not going to speculate that it was one way or another, but apparently it was. I talked to my guy at Lowe's. He's one of the cashiers. He's not really a cashier. They don't actually have cashiers anymore there. It's all self-checkout. He says, and this is Lexington. This is actually a very, very stable economic city. This is not some, place that is suffering in the doldrums, which there are a lot of cities that are. He said now, all of a sudden, past a couple months, people are yelling at him. They'll push their cart up like they're about to check out, and they're yelling at him, wanting either a major discount or wanting all the stuff for free. So the next best thing to the five-finger discount or swiping it, and I didn't know this, is that people are yelling at him wanting it for free. He has no such power to make any kind of declaration. How presumptuous and crazy do you have to be to push your goodies up in your shopping cart and yell at the dude that's watching people to make sure they're checking their stuff out properly, yelling at him for, wanting it for free? I'd like to know your thoughts on that. If you really want an earmarker, and there's about 10 million of them, that the world has gone absolutely crazy, and of course it has, and tyranny is ruling and growing in power every day. RFK, and I absolutely really have no respect at all for RFK. I just don't. It has nothing to do with politics. Fundamentally, the things that he's proclaimed over the past many years are just really, really, really radical, and on the far end of the spectrum radical. But some things he actually says is like the middle of the road, and that's what people appreciate him for, but I have no respect for them. And I don't watch CNN. I don't watch any of the news networks at all, by the way. He was on CNN, and someone was talking about Orange Man Bad being a threat to democracy, and as a side note, the United States is not a democracy. It's a constitutional republic. You should go look that up, by the way, if you think the United States is a democracy, which it is not. And he was being asked, what about Orange Man Bad being a threat to democracy? And this is what RFK essentially said. You could go watch the video. It's everywhere. He said, well, the biggest threat to our democracy, and it's not a democracy, is, I'm not going to say his name, Captain Oatmeal Applesauce. El Presidente Oatmeal Applesauce. You know who I'm talking about. And then he said, he's the biggest danger to our democracy, and he lists all the things that he did. Boom, 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 boom. Undeniable facts, like totally illegal censorship here, illegal censorship there. Boom, this, and this. And they almost cut him off, like, turn off the cameras, go to commercial. It's just true. You can go watch the video. She was making notes. The reporter, like, shh, go to commercial. That after he was on, he told the truth, and he listed the reasons why. He said he's a way bigger danger to democracy here in the United States. They brought in a fact-checker to fact-check RFK, which he didn't fact-check him at all because everything RFK was factual. Everybody's been asking me, by the way, and this is a side note, about the so-called Havana syndrome. And the one thing that actually fits all criteria, it's actually a two-part. And I talk about this on Facebook. I don't want to go into depth on that here, but the causation chain for the Havana syndrome is an X-ray laser. I posted pictures of the primary driver, not the power supply, for the X-ray laser, and it's not a whole lot bigger than this rock. Minimum at 400 plus yards, minimum of 50-watt X-ray laser. Chain of causation. There's a lot of stuff that's called DO, scalar, microwave, sonic. There's 7 primary things that are called DO. So DO doesn't mean anything. Don't say DO. That's like someone talking about 5G. 5G just means 5th generation. 5G is not an issue. It's high band 5G. There's low band, 5G, low band, mid band, and high band 5G. And then there's the beamforming technology of 5G high band. So beamforming high band, meaning high frequency 5G, is the issue. So don't say do. Do refers to a lot of things. That's like saying people. You're being extremely unspecific. All of a sudden, everywhere, and this is probably the reason why there's going to be mail-in like November 4th, if there's a November 4th at all, which I don't think there is going to be. They're scaremongering everybody now, and this is in league with the whole, you shouldn't have birds, bird flu. That's really infiltrated that nonsense in a lot of people's minds. Everywhere now. Oh, half of infections are fatal. Warning, warning, Will Robinson, bird flu everywhere. Have you noticed this started popping up everywhere? That's the next plan of affront to humanity. Canada is literally on the brink. I've gotten so many emails and so many messages from so many Canadians. Look in my eye when I tell you this. So many emails from Canuckistan about people that are trying to scrape together enough money to flee, to get out of there. It's just absolutely gone insane. Property, food prices, people are on the edge in Canada. And even 5 years ago, if I made that statement, in the year 2024, Canadians will be trying to scrape together every dollar to flee permanently. Oh, you're crazy! That's never going to happen. Canada is like, a bunch of people that, drink brews and, fry up moose steaks and, they're very easygoing. That's just crazy talk. Like, no, that's exactly what's going on up there. These are from the mouths of Canadians. I get no less than 3 to 4 emails a day from Canadians about, and it's always kind of the same thing. You know what's going on in Canada? Like, yeah, I've heard it like already 20 times this week already, what's going on in Canada. The list gets longer and longer and longer. I'm kind of worried of the Canadians that think, well, this is the last time El Presidente, Justina Castro can run, and therefore we're going to have it solved. I mean, you really think that? I mean, that's like Americans that think, oh, November 4th is coming up, we got a chance to end this tyranny. You really think it's going to end? I mean, there's a cabal. You replace the puppet, but you still got the same puppet master. Don't suffer that delusion. The same people that are getting upset and anxious over the puppets, who are not running the show, are the same people that are excited about a change of puppets. Who cares if they swap out the puppet? You still got the same evil cabal Hydra that's yanking on the puppet strings. Same league of Hydra yanking on the puppet strings. I can't believe people have hope for that. Hope is a great thing. Hope and faith are certainly great. One thing that's actually going on here in the United States is that there's been a deference. I'm seeing it everywhere. I'm even seeing it here. This really has been one of the last places in the United States for bad things to hit. This is very middle of the road. It is a college town, but it is not left-leaning at all. For like crazy stuff that you kind of see in the rest of the country, this is essentially the last place for it to hit. And I'm seeing it here. Seeing a deference to criminals rather than citizens. This idea spreading everywhere about squatters' rights. By the way, I heard, and I don't know if this is true, that one of the loopholes in squatters' rights is that since you own the property, even though the people that are illegally there, and I don't know if this is true or not, legally, you still have the ability to store things there, even if the squatters for a temporary period of time have rights. And one guy just decided to store an enormous amount of loose, uncaged snakes on his own property. The squatters didn't stay around for very long. Apparently that's a loophole. You could use it for storage until you get things. I don't know if that's true or not, but that was his claim. I can't believe anybody's giving deference to squatters. Now, Florida has passed a new law to curb that, but I mean, I'd love to see somebody try that here in Kentucky. I mean, I just the consequences of that. It's like, oh, you're you're going to occupy illegally. You're trespassing and you're illegally occupying property that you have absolutely no right to, no lease to, nothing. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see that happening in Kentucky anytime soon. The rest of America is extremely embarrassed for California, Chicago, New York, New Jersey, where this is going on. And it's disgusting and deplorable, and I'd like to hear from you on that one. My buddy who's never been wrong, but there's always been a first time for everything, he told me the day before yesterday, he said there's like a 72-hour window when Iran is going to go kinetic, either towards the United States or against Israel. And so we're still within that 24 to 48-hour window of that happening. He's never been wrong yet. He's always been 100% accurate on his sources, so he could be wrong on that one, but I don't think he will be. So we still have a extremely short window there of less than 48 hours for that to actually occur. By the way, that's even made the news recently, saying that people are waiting for the shoe to drop on that one. There is a vibe shift, and there's going to reach a critical mass for people that are just too busy paying the bills and taking care of their family and making ends meet. People that don't actually sit back and, look at the whole picture. Kind of like the evil guy in the Matrix that has like 1,000 computer screens or TV screens, and he's looking at everything collectively, and you can actually get the entire zeitgeist of society, which is kind of what I do. However, I'm not the evil architect from the Matrix movies. When enough people see what's actually going on, and I'm already seeing it, spits and spurts here and there. It's like the people that are moving, to here, and they're actually preparing themselves, and they're actually hoarding away supplies that they need, and genuine bartering items. Like I'm hatching out, 45, 50 duck egg and geese eggs. I mean, that is a form of currency. The fertilized eggs are a real form of currency. I even have rare goose eggs coming. They're called Sevastopol geese. They basically look like a big fluffy pillow. The female quacks, geese, not quacks, go for like $260 a piece. It's a slightly endangered bird. Their eggs are supposed to be really tasty, but I can't imagine eating them. If they're fertilized, I'd want to hatch them out because they're a rare bird. Those would be the last eggs you'd want to eat. But people that are actually looking outside of the box, there is a vibe shift coming, and when enough people see it, there'd be a critical mass when a lot of stuff was actually going to shift. I'm already hearing out of California from people that live there because they had the mandatory started April the 1st, the mandatory $20 an hour for fast food and some restaurant workers. I don't know to what level, all restaurant workers or some restaurant workers. $20 an hour. They're laying everybody off. By the way, 371 99-cent stores, basically $1 store. They're all closing up permanently and forever. Poof, gone. There's no way they can do the dollar store stuff anymore. It's over with. So 371 stores, poof, gone. I'm just seeing domino effects everywhere. Even in grocery stores, people are losing their cool and flipping out. I could hear people in the aisles, verbally to themselves or to their loved one, significant other, complaining. I got $35 of the groceries yesterday, and it cost me like $72. Cheap stuff. Nothing fancy. It's like burger patties and some muffin buns and some cheese and some potatoes and some bananas and something else very, very insignificant. I mean, that was like $72. It was nothing. You get home and you look, like, what did I buy? What did I buy? It's getting worse, and it's going to get worse. They're trying to destroy the meat supply. In the UK, where you have no rights at all, you're nothing other than a subject, a lowly subject, not a citizen. Learn the difference between a citizen and a subject. A lowly subject. Yes, governor. Oh, whatever you say, gov. I'm not making fun of the English. I'm half English myself. What do you think about this $5,000 fine or 6 months in jail if you don't? And you got to pay this enormous fee to have your quacks or ducks or chickens, make sure that they've had their shots. This is an enormous fee. They don't want people feeding themselves. Next thing they're going to have is like some crazy, you can't grow. I got, by the way, today I bought 15 pounds of mung beans. They're great. You make sprouts out of them. You can fry them up, kind of like hash browns. There's a million things you can do with mung beans. You could just eat them straight, put some olive oil on them, some balsamic vinegar. They're really, really great. Those and alfalfa seeds. A bag of mung beans. They'll look like tiny little black-eyed peas, except they're green. Tiny, tiny little suckers. They're awesome for sprouting. Look into mung beans. I should have brought a bag in here to show you. I see that as the next step. Right now they don't want anybody in the UK having chickens so they could feed themselves. Oh no, that's too dangerous. You could get the quack flu or the goose flu or the cluck flu. It's insanity. There has to be some sort of crazy tax next, or a ban on sprouting seeds. Oh no, you can't buy seeds anymore. You need to have a Form Y3 registration with the government and a special tax for you to grow sprouting seeds or to buy heirloom seeds. No, we can't sell heirloom seeds or sprouting seeds to the citizenry, I should say the subjects, anymore. When the vibe shift hits the people that have been so oblivious for these past few years, I mean, things will shift quickly. I already see it shifting, but it hasn't reached that critical mass yet. Anyway, tell me what you think. I'm getting an increasing number of emails of people telling me how desperate they are, how eager they are to get the heck out of Canuckistan, how eager they are to get the heck out of California, Jersey, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New York, Pennsylvania, Illinois. It's like, I want out of here. By the way, don't move to Tennessee. Tennessee is nothing like Kentucky. Nothing at all like it. The taxes, the craziness in Tennessee is the most corrupt city, named most corrupt city, by the way, is Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm not a fan of Tennessee. You could hate me all you want for it, but Tennessee ain't nothing like Kentucky. People that think that it is, you're wrong. It's not even close. Even the place where I got the eggs from, he's on southern Arizona. He sells hatching eggs through Priority Post. And I told him when I paid for some land out here, which is $246 an acre, he didn't believe me. He's like, yeah, I proved it to him. He's like, yeah, we're trying to get out of here. We can't take this situation in southern Arizona anymore. Really nice guy. He's a farmer. And he wants the heck out of Arizona. I think he's got like a 5-acre farm where he has a lot of ducks and geese and he sells their fertile eggs. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely rest of your week. Goodbye.